All right, people, we are here for the semifinals, believe it or not, already of the Battle Hub Draft League. And I am not alone. I am joined by one of the contenders of the semifinals. We have Scorpion with us. How are you doing, my friend?
What's going on, everyone? My name is Scorpion, owner of VHTL and coach of the L.E.A.F agents. It's a little weird that I'm actually on the other side of this one. I'm usually the one recording these videos, but thank you for having me, Emerald. Very excited to talk about the semifinals today, and yeah, especially my match, obviously. So I'm ready to go. Let's get into it.
Absolutely. We've also got fellow commissioner Brandon joining us from the previous video. How are you doing, Brandon?
What's up, everyone? Brandon's here, and I'm just happy to be here to talk about the semifinals and a playoffs that I feel like no one can say they accurately have predicted so far.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, it seems like it kind of swung way or the other. People were either all in on the opposite or either all in on the ranking side, but we kind of got a little bit of both. But we can skip over these rankings. We went over them previously. They don't really matter. We can get right into the playoff bracket right now. And as you can see, we've got Scorp versus Raymon on one side and B-Nard versus Anastasia on the other. Guys, what are your thoughts on the quarterfinals matches so far?
Honestly, they've been pretty crazy to me. Obviously, we had myself versus Pokemaster, Raymon versus Emeraldminer, B-Nard versus Biradu, and the best not really versus Anastasia. Very hype games. I was very excited to see all of them, and they absolutely delivered from what I could tell anyway. Definitely unexpected results, though. I mean, on my side of the bracket, I wasn't really sure what to think of it, but especially on the other side of the bracket, I definitely had my predictions. And I mean, I respect all of the players that are in there, obviously, and it could have gone either way. But for neither Biradu nor the best not really to make it to semis was definitely a big shock for me. Like, B-Nard versus Anastasia was not the matchup I was expecting on the other side of the semis. But it's really cool to see. Obviously, big congrats to Anna for making it to semis immediately here. And obviously also, B-Nard with his big comeback this season. Also very well done to him. And yeah, I get to battle the champion. The stick gets passed on to me to see if I can take him down. So it's a wild ride, but I'm all for it. I'm very excited to see how it unfolds further from here.
Absolutely. Any thoughts, Brandon?
So far I've been pretty thrilled with the games in the playoffs. It was just a bunch of it was a bunch of matchups, but for the most part, something I've noticed was that everyone either A played a closer game than their first game, or B the score was more or less the exact same. With the only exception I'm thinking being Anna versus the best, because she went from getting 5-0 to doing the 5-0ing, which I think is very impressive. Uh, Outside of that, every game more or less went kind of how I thought it would be. Now, of course, with Emerald and Raymond, no one could have known what to expect from that game, but I thought it was a pretty exciting game. And I'm just really looking forward to what the semifinals has to bring.
Yeah, and obviously, just making it to the playoffs in the first place, big accomplishment to all the coaches and good for them and all. And just making it to the semifinals is massive too. I mean, and we've got some epic matches here. So we'll get right into it here. First up, we have Scorpion versus Raymond. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this is only like your second time facing off in the BHDL, right?
Correct. Yeah, the first time was week 3 of season 2. So very epic one. We did not face off in season 1, and now we're going head to head in the place where it matters most, the playoffs.
Yeah, I for one am really excited to see this battle. But Brandon, what are your thoughts on this matchup here?
I remember, like, initially I was just thinking about how, like, they this is like if I'm not mistaken, this is their first time meeting in playoffs, so the stakes couldn't be any higher, especially considering the winner of this game goes to the finals. I remember just when I was looking at these teams, like, on paper, I just thought that Scorpion had the stronger team, but at the same time, Raymond is the two-time champ. Um, Both of them have had to work really hard to get here. With Scorpion just having, like, a slightly better record than Raymond. Scorpion's second time in the semis, Ray's third time, so they're pretty much where they always end up. But outside of that, I think like just looking at the teams individually, I think honestly, this is like probably the most impressive team I've ever seen score draft. Granted, it's only been 3 drafts, so not a whole lot of
Technically,
comparisons to make. But
technically 4 if you count the GBA with Jack.
you know what? For the sake of science, let's count that. But still, out of all these teams, I feel like this is the most impressive team that I've seen. Definitely like one of the harder teams to break, while it's also one of the most offensively potent teams as well. And then on Raymon's side, I remember in the beginning of the season when we did like the power rankings. I remember when I was looking at his team, I didn't really understand the team a lot, but seeing how he has used it throughout the season, I've come to. Well, I'm not going to even try to sugarcoat it. I still don't understand a lot of these mods, if I'm being honest. But I have seen how he has taken them, and because he understands them, and he's taken them, and he's been able to, make it to the semifinals with them. And to me, I feel like his team, like, it just really goes to show, like, if you really know your mons, there's really no limit to what you can do with them. And few things they have in common as well. They both have a Thundurus, so it's going to be cool to see the battle of Thunduruses, even though one of them is kind of limited because he can't Thunder Punch
the other one.
Both have. I think it's pretty cool that both have Prankster Terra captains. Both drafted a form of their favorite. Well, Scorpion's favorite Pokemon, to my understanding, is Torterra. Raymon, his is Azumarill, but he has Marill, good enough. And then overall, I feel like this is going to be a very analytical battle and potentially a BHDO classic, because both of them, to me, from what I've seen, take analytical approaches to their games. Because Scorpion, it seems like he's always prepared, like, down to the EV. And then when you watch Raymon's games, even when it seems like he's in a pinch, he just always has a plan. So to see who is going to be, I guess, the better general, I'll use that word, general, it's going to be pretty interesting to see. But what do you guys think?
Yeah, absolutely. You stole my thunder once again there, talking about the Battle of the Thunders, but I'll take it, yeah. For me, I just look at these teams, and, in Season 2, I also faced Raymon with an Iron Val versus the Baxcalibur. And in this match, I think Iron Valiant has an even better matchup versus both this Baxcalibur and Archaludon. But in addition to that, if we look at the speed stats across the board, I mean, we've got the 121 versus the 116, the 116 versus the 111, but then you got the 101. But then you got 99, 98, 95, 85. A lot of these guys are faster than, like, the Baxcalibur, the Glimmora, the Archaludon. And overall, I mean, looking at this, Thundurus T has a 145 base special attack stat. Hisuian Typhlosion can fire off Specs Eruptions. The Iron Val and the Samurott being able to set up spikes. I definitely feel like there's a lot of power behind Scorpion's team. Of course, Raymon's team also has a lot of power, at least 145 attack ice shards, and just the sheer physical defense of Archaludon, backed up by a potential for the Prankster screens and Prankster Thunder Waves and Encores, everything that Raymon's team can do with Prankster, and of course the Violite Porygon. And they can also set up a lot of hazards with Glimmora. So there's a lot of great things about both of these teams. So it's really going to come down to, like I was saying with B-Nard versus Biradu, positioning and how well these two coaches can pilot these teams. Like you said, the mineral. If I had to say, well, I guess I'll reserve my final statement. I don't know if Scorpion, you want to give any input. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'd love to. Obviously, this is my game, so I'm not gonna go too in depth into what I'm thinking because I don't want to give too much away. But it's an absolute honor for me to finally get to face Raymon in this high stakes battle. I respect the hell out of him. He's a very good friend of mine as well. We talk a lot in and outside of Pokemon, and we've been kind of hyping each other up all season, helping each other out, and just kind of talking about matches. And now we're finally going head to head, and like we've been gassing each other up, and it's been a really wholesome experience. And we're both I'm certainly like, as much as I'm a big nervous wreck, and to see if I can, be the one to finally eliminate Raymond from playoffs. I'm also very very excited to finally get to battle him and his team. And I fully agree with Brandon in the sense that I think the way Raymond pilots his teams, and this one is no exception, is really sort of impressive and unique because I'm sitting here prepping, right, and I'm feeling like where do I even start? Like I genuinely came up so empty on what to bring, and and obviously he has so many mons. Like I would not pilot this team well if I had his team. Like especially the Whimsicott and the Thunderous Incarnate. Like Thunderous Theory, and hell yeah, I'll pilot that mon. But Incarnate form is a hella different beast. So yeah, I'm very excited to see what he has in store for me. So yeah, a little bit of a preview. Me and Raymond did have a little sort of gentleman's agreement to both bring our Thunderouses. So it's going to be indeed a very epic Thunderous showdown, Thunderous Incarnate versus Thunderous Therian. As for that matchup specifically, obviously it's a bit of an interesting one because while yes, Thunderous Therian does have the advantage in that one because of Volt Absorb, what is definitely worth noting is that Thunderous Incarnate does outspeed Thunderous Therian. So obviously, he will be able to get a strong hit off on me before I can hit him, unless I choose to be Scarf, in which case he can also be Scarf. You never know. But the main thing is, like, he's always going to be able to hit me before I can hit him, and that means that either if I'm on low health or if he wants to like hit me with a strong neutral coverage move, he can do that. And let's not forget that Thunderous it's not known for its bulk. So if I let myself get chipped enough, I can definitely get 1v1 still. But yeah, the Volt Absorb definitely does give me a huge edge in this one.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
I do think Raymond's team is very strong. I do think Raymond's team is very strong. I like the way he pilots it. I'm very scared of the Baxcalibur. That thing nearly had me in season 2. I did win that game, but I actually won it because of like a coin flip roll on my Oricorio, because I built it very bulky. And if he managed to get up a Dragon Dance on me, and I let my Zamazenta at the time get weakened. And if he got the coin flip roll, I would have been dead. Like I would have lost the game right there. So it's just like stuff of nightmares is coming back to me with the Baxcalibur here again, and it terrifies me. And I mean, the rest of his team, like we've seen him bring every single one of his mons and put in work with them. So I have absolutely no idea what to expect. I could genuinely see every single one of these mons showing up. And yeah, I'm down to be surprised, but I'm also hoping I can do the work. I do think, if I want to round it off real quick, like my thoughts, I do overall think this matchup is in my favor, like on paper, just because of I think Iron Valley in this game is ridiculously strong, and that's kind of like my number one pick, right? And I also think like if you look at the rest of the team, like the rest of the matchup is very even on paper, I'd say, but I would say like the speed tiers, like you mentioned, and yeah, just how strong Iron Valiant is in this game, as well as Thunderous Theory and also having quite a strong offensive profile for this game, does on paper give me the edge. But this is Raymond we're talking about, and yeah, he's it's going to be a very big question mark if I can actually pull it off. But if I don't, I'll be very happy at this point. I've had an incredible season, and yeah, I wish him the best of luck, and I'm very looking forward to this one.
Absolutely. And I'll just say, just to counter that, to give something for a point for Raymond, I do feel like Ogrepon Wellspring also has a pretty good matchup in this, but you've also got things to do with
Absolutely
it.
agree.
You guys both have ways of dealing with each other. It's just gonna come down to like Brandon said, how do you pilot it? But yeah, that is a good point. I never really considered the fact that like Raymond's team, at least just for me, is not how I draft. Like I draft much more like Scorpion. I need my walls and I need my strong hitters and my fast ones and my spinners. But Raymond, he managed to accomplish that in kind of a different way, I guess you would say. Brandon, any closing thoughts on this match?
Hmm. Not really much left to be said outside of I really feel like this is going to end up being a classic. I'm really looking forward to it.
For
You guys
sure.
want to talk about who you think is going to win?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give it to you, Scorp. I really think this Iron Val and plus this other Mons, I feel like they just have an inherent advantage. But and also I just feel like the overall power is there for you. But Raymond could always pull it out. But my pick'ems, I said Scorp. Hey, cards on the table.
It's all about the Iron Val.
You know,
I
as an
respect
Iron
it, Fred.
Ball
I
user
appreciate you.
myself, how could I not?
Exactly. Brandon, your thought?
Yeah. To me, this is a lot closer than the other game we have to talk about, but I'm gonna give the slight edge to. Normally, I'd be a betting man, but today I'm not gonna be a betting man. I'm gonna
Not gonna
give
be
the
a betting
slight
man.
edge to Scorpion.
That's fair. We won't ask Scorp to comment on his match because obviously he's going to be a little biased. But you know, I'm sure he's got a lot of respect for Raymond, as we all do. So
I do, and I did fill in the pick'ems. I always traditionally vote against myself, and I did the same thing here, especially in this case. It couldn't be more justified because if there's anyone I see myself getting my ass kicked by in this season, it's Raymond. So, do you know what? I'll say it. If I'm a betting man, my money's going to the other side. Although I am flattered you guys have that much confidence in me, and I really do appreciate that. So yeah, thank you.
of course, now we will be moving on to the other semifinal match. B-Nard versus Anastasia. This is going to be a week 1 rematch. So Anna is continuing her legacy of doing the rematches. I'll give my thoughts first, I guess. So looking at this match on paper, you know, we've got the Sneasel over there, which can have the Unburden to be fast and everything. Anna has brought this core of 6 to most of her matches. So maybe some, like I noticed that what she did versus the best was she actually brought the Meloetta in over the Clodsire. You know, I feel like that's what she has been able to pilot a lot, and I think that's a big strength for her, having to be so used to this core of 6 and maybe just switching out 1 has really gotten her used to this team. Of course, B-Nard, I feel like he has also gotten he also usually doesn't stray too far away from like Goodra, Sizzle, Sneasler, Rhoda, Mudsdale, Ninetales, maybe
Yep.
just switching in one. So very similar in that regard. And in terms of the Terra captains, both Goodra and Arcanine are very excellent Terra captains. Goodra can Terra, if he can predict it right like he did versus me with the Terra Dark, he could just wall something off. Arcanine can also be a wall with Intimidate. The Raichu could come in a few times, but I mean, Terra Gyarados is just phenomenal, just as a sweeper, which I'm pretty sure that's what happened versus the best. So, a lot of pros and cons on both sides. Lots of great attributes for both of these players. I will say, I do think she has B-Nard beat in the Hazard game. Although, actually, well, they both have defog users, so I don't know how much Hazards are going to play a game, or how much Hazards are going to play a role compared to the previous match, because I feel like they're both just going to get defogged away, which is, you know, a sad day for me when Hazards aren't going to come into factor, but it is what it is. I do think that she's got a heck of a lot of pivoting potential, lots of U-turners and parting shots and volt switches and even baton pass Screamtail, but apart from that, I want to hear your guys' thoughts.
I guess I'll continue this one. I'm really excited for this match. Obviously, like you said, this is a rematch from week 1, and yeah, what we cannot forget to mention is their week 1 battle was an absolute slugfest. I think obviously B-Nard made an upload about it. It was like 40 minutes long, I think. Yeah, it was crazy, and it was a very, very hard fought match. Very down to the wire. Good plays, obviously some questionable plays, which is bound to happen when you play for that long. I think everyone would have that at that point. But overall, it was a really solid match, very well played from both sides. And if this is going to be anything like the first time, then it'll definitely be another showdown for the ages. I do think that both of these teams have a very versatile roster. I do think. One of my biggest things about this team is even though both of these guys definitely have like sort of their comfortable 6, you know, like Emerald said. Obviously on Anastasia's side, we had her first 6 showing up to most games. There's quite a few, like her Thwacky and her Hitmonlee, I think have only shown up once. And then obviously B-Nard is also bringing like Sneasler and Goodra, I think have shown up to every game. So has Scizor. And then like between Rotom, Ninetales, Mudsdale, and Arcanine. Those most frequently show up as well. We didn't really get to see the Mesprit, the Pincurchin, or the Arboliva too much this season. But the few games that they did show up, they did do a very good job, and that kind of leads me into the point that I'm getting at, is I could honestly see every single one of these Pokemon showing up, and that's kind of like a difference between the match between me and Raymon. I'll be very surprised if Raymon brings the Marill, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't mind giving this away. I'm not bringing Morgrim either, but in this game, I could see all of them on showing up, and I think that's quite exciting. I'll be very interested to see how they adapt to each other, obviously, because the match was so close last time, right? That's the thing. With if you have a rematch and then one person got beaten pretty badly the first time, or it was not really a particularly close match, you'll have like obviously the one person who lost, you know, who's going to be very much adapting to just not having that happen again, you know. But in this case, the match was so close and could have honestly gone either way that I feel like both coaches really have like a big task at hand of trying to not only adapt to what they think they could have done better from last time, but also how they think their opponent is going to do it, and then trying to counter. Like they're both playing that mind game, you know, which I think is interesting to know.
Yeah.
I do think that the Dragapult in this game is especially strong on Ana's side because it's a Dragapult. It's, you know, infamous for being known as the best Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet draft. So I think that's definitely a very strong contender in this game, especially because it has coverage to pretty much damage almost the entirety of B-Nard's team super effectively, or at least dent them very hard. I can see a lot of sets being viable as well this game, actually, like status sets, sub DD, specs. Like I can honestly see all of those being good. But yeah, her I think her definitely like key to win is going to be that Dragapult, and the Terra Gyarados, like you said, that's also a very good weapon. Then on B-Nard's side, obviously we have the Rotom Wash, very reliable, bulky pivot, very good into Ana's team in my opinion. He also has the Sneasler, which obviously can have a good time. You know, I think Sneasler did put in a lot of work in the week 1 game. That's obviously his kind of secret weapon. I don't want to really secret, but you know, his kind of main sort of tool to win games. But like those are kind of just the monsters that immediately stand out to me. But I think overall this is also a very, very even game. And again, I'm really just looking forward to how they adapt after that week 1 game, because they're both playing that mind game. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how they adapt and how also how they're going to use the Terra Captains, because I don't remember exactly what the Terra types they brought last time. But the Terra Captains are very well placed on both of these teams, very high value. And I'm looking forward to see if they like change up their strategy, or if they think like, oh, what I brought last time just simply worked well, so let's do it again. Yeah, very much looking forward to this side as well. And obviously whoever wins this match gets to face either me or Raymond in the finals, so it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, what are you thinking, Brandon?
I remember when I was looking at this matchup, like you guys pointed out, this is just like a really big like rematch from this season. Especially considering, you know, when they first played, it was only a 1-0 game, so it was a really close game that honestly could have went either way.
Yep.
And I do think, however, whoever wins this game will have their work cut out for them in the finals.
Oh yeah,
But that to the side, like I said, it was a close game the first time around. And I think like from week 1, they've both grown as players, especially Ana, like from where she's just really grown like throughout this whole season. And then B-Nard, he has had I remember in the power rankings, I could be wrong about this, but I do want to say I remember saying that the team looked like it was limited in what it could do. So for him to even make it this far, I just find it impressive. And I you know, I'm just being honest, I do still stand by that opinion for one reason and one reason only. Throughout the season, whenever someone, as we know, from time to time, people do mocks and draft. And in like before the playoffs, whenever I would do mocks with people, like for B-Nard, for example, I would always try to build a team, and I would always be thinking to myself, oh yeah, I think you got this. Because I'll just build like a set, and then I'd be sitting here like, what can this mon really do? And then I'll go see the results. B-Nard won. Then I watch the game, and I'd be sitting here like, oh, this mon can do that, and that. Well, made a believer out of me.
Yeah,
and I just think
that Encore Ninetales for the best.
Yeah, he's really. I feel like he's really been like And I feel like it's kind of like the same thing with Raymond. He really knows his mons and just knows how to get the most out of them. And like just in general, he just really understands his team. And Anna, on the same hand, Anna seems to always have a plan whenever she plays. And I just think overall she looks stronger on paper, despite losing in season 1. However, the same thing happened with the best. She looks stronger, lost, but as we've pointed out earlier, she's really good in these best out of 3 VGC situations.
Yep.
But it's been like 2 months, so we only know, we only imagine what they're going to bring after having all that time to like really think about that game 1.
That's true.
But I think their teams also have a lot of similarities too. Powerhouses such as the Polt and the Sneasler both have pretty good support mons, such as Rotom, Stringtail, Quad, and so on. Both have great defoggers, who are both steel types.
Yep, there you go.
Scizor and Tor. Yeah, I think they both have pretty cool teams.
I'd like to add on to that actually, because I honestly think these teams have some of the best defensive cores in the season, and I think is one of the reasons why that initial game went for so long. Because like if you look at Anna's side, she has the Screamtail, the Incineroar, the Corviknight, and the Clodsire. These 4 alone are just so sturdy. But then B-Nard's side as well. I remember prepping for him for the first time. You have the Goodra, you have the Sneasler, not the Sneasler, sorry, the Scizor, then the Mudsdale, the Rotom Wash, the Intimidate Arcanine, the Arboliva even, and the Ninetales can even just set up screens and, double the defenses of all of them. So because of the fact that these 2 teams are going head to head, I can absolutely, in that regard, I could 100% see this being another repeat of week 1, at least in the sense that it could be a very, very long game.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, especially because the fact that these hazards are probably just going to get defogged away time and time again. So while they do a lot of pivoting, they might not necessarily be taking as much chip as they would if they keep on defogging, unless one of them forces the other to not be able to defog. But speaking of that game 1, I would be remiss if we didn't bring up the fact that Anna was pretty much in the driver's seat that entire game. And the thing that turned everything around was that Scarf Ninetales when he made that play.
Yeah,
and
I wanted to bring it up as well.
That entire time. So that was the thing that, changed everything. And so now Anna's going into this with a fresh mindset, she's going to be, and not only that, I think psychologically, that was her first game in this league. That definitely left an impression on her. And so now for her to have to face B-Nard and have the chance for revenge, she's going to be going all out. That's my thoughts.
You bet. No, I think you're absolutely right. What are we, do we want to place bets on this one? Who do we think is going to win?
Yeah. My money is going 65-35 Anna.
Oh, nice.
And, I doubted her last time, and she made a believer out of me, so I'm going to believe in her this time as well. I'm leaning towards Anna.
I respected you guys voting for the new player. I honestly am really struggling with this one. I think it's going to be a really exciting match. Do you know what? I think I'm going to be. I think I'm going to break them all here. I'm actually going to say 55-45 in favor of Captain B-Nard, just because I feel like his consistency this season has just been incredible, and I really think that the way he pilots his team, he can make it work to try to get through Anna again. I think absolutely both players can win, but just due to that sheer consistency and how I've seen him because B-Nard, he's been uploading all of his games. I think he's played incredible this season, and I'm not surprised that he's made it this far. I'm very happy for his redemption there. So I'm actually going to say 55-45 in favor of Captain B-Nard.
That's true. It makes me really happy knowing that for either of these coaches, this will be their first time in finals. So that feels good. But also, I think I am a little bit biased towards Anna just because she has the Dragapult. Like, her team is a little bit reminiscent of the Season 1 Demolition Force because she's got, like, the bulky Clodsire, like the Tinglu to set up the hazards, and Pole, and then so just going back to, and I could relate to her journey because I was going into playoffs having just lost to Pokemaster and Scorpion, and then I had to face them in do it again. So she's trying to kind of going on that same journey. So
Oh yeah, you had to
yeah.
like in season 1 you had to like play me, then Chris again, then me again. That was crazy.
Yep, absolutely. But yeah, any other closing thoughts, guys?
I'm very excited, and I'll be very proud whoever wins it here, and especially who will take it all. I say let the best man or woman win.
Absolutely, Brandon.
And I feel the same way. I just think this, but I do know that whoever does win, like overall, I just know like this is going to be the finals are going to be the next 3 games in the BHDL are going to be blockbusters. That's what I'm trying to get at.
They're gonna be ones to remember. Absolutely.
I can't wait for them. And with that, we are going to say good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Thank you to Scorpion and Brandon for taking the time out of their days to join as well.
It was a real pleasure.
It was a pleasure for sure.
All right. We can't wait to see these games. Good luck to everybody. And, congratulations for making it to semifinals once again. And, yeah, can't wait to see these games. We'll see you guys on the side.
Peace.
Peace.